Welcome to another episode of Just Ask Cher Live. I'm your host, Cher Jones, and today we are talking about your brand, your personal brand, in the new normal. I know it sounds actually far off to start thinking about the new normal, but when we get there, that's not going to be the time to be thinking about your personal brand. So, of course, I want to get you ahead of the game. So, this is exactly the episode that you need to pay attention to, if you ask me. I'm just saying. I mean, quite frankly, I don't do any episodes without making sure that I think that you're going to pay attention to it. Just like right now, I need to pay attention to the fact that the timer is now started. You see? I know what's up. I got it. And of course, today's scroll stopper, it is a pretty good one. Talk about leveraging the power of, dare I say, influencers. We'll go influencers light. You'll see what I'm talking about. And of course, in Tap That App, 2Ps. This one's going to be totally different. You wait, because I'm leaning on you this time. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is check out to see, am I broadcasting? That is always important. As you guys know, you never know until you know, right? So I'm checking that out right now. And of course, I want to know in the meantime, as I check, Team Live or Team Replay, what team are you? No matter what team you are, you're on my team. And that is always a good thing. Okay, so while I do that, typity type, let me know. Team Live, Team Replay, where you from? Where you at? And yes, we are live. I see viewers. That matters to me more than you know. And so everybody here right now watching the show, I appreciate you. Oh, I love it. Donovan, guess what, my friend? I never reveal my scroll stoppers right up front, but today, guys, you want to network with Donovan in the comments right now because he is my featured scroll stopper. I'll get there when I get there, but that is who I'm featuring today. So let's jump in. Again, I want to see who's where, who's what. So Team Live for Randall Constant, and of course, hi, Calvin. If you guys don't know Calvin, he's the LinkedIn Live guy, and he's the son of Randall, and he's someone that you always want to connect with because he's just awesome. I have Megan and Blair and Melinda and Misha, Abir and Susan and Kalisa and Aisha and Catherine. All y'all are Team Live. I got Edmonton, Phoenix. Which tool do I use? Okay, well, I use a bunch of tools, Abir. So I actually have like 3 videos where I talk about what I use for live, but just to say quickly, I use Streamlabs OBS, which is what gamers use. I use Restream.io to make sure that I'm going to multiple networks. So hello to everybody watching on Twitter. Hello to everybody watching on Facebook and my YouTubers. Hello to you, and I appreciate the love. Of course, you guys know, because of what I use, I have to follow the comments here on LinkedIn. That's kind of where the conversation happens. But no matter where you're watching, whether you're Team Live or Team Replay, I got love for you. So thank you. All right. Let me see. Blair from Edmonton. Hello, my Canadian sister. Oh, Calvin reminded Randall. That's my Calvin, because that's why you're on my team. I love it. Okay, Kevin Jones, Trudy. Oh my gosh. One of my biz besties is catching me live. Do you know how good it feels when one of your biz besties, Trudy, is on live with me? I love it. Okay. Oh, and Sharon from Blacks Inspire. Erin, another one of my business besties south of the border, because I got my Canadian girls, plus I got my American girls and guys. So love it. Christopher, another one. Althea, Megan. Oh, 8 a.m. Oh my gosh. So this is a good time. I know I get you up early, Megan, but I appreciate you. Another one of my branding, my branding sisters, because Megan also works on brands and LinkedIn and all that good stuff way on down under. So there's lots of us who can help you out, guys. And Vel in Orlando. Well, guys, I am an Abir, thank you. Anyone who says I'm amazing is a friend of mine. So thank you very much, guys. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you tuning in. And like I said, today's show really is about preparing your personal brands for the future. And I have thought of several considerations that you need to start thinking about now. I've already started with my repositioning. And I want to, and I've actually had several people that I started working with in the last 2 weeks that are doing the same things because they're starting to think ahead. You don't want to start thinking about your brand when you need to. Meaning when you have to. That's it. When you have to, because right now is the time that you need to. So I'm going to give you some thoughts. I'm going to give you some strategies today because that's what I do. You know, I am here to make sure that y'all are branded and ready for business, branded and social for business. And if you don't know me, if this is the first time meeting me, my name is Cher Jones, and I am a corporate social media trainer that specializes in helping corporate professionals, leaders, and entrepreneurs develop powerful personal brands for work and teach them how to use social media at work for work. I know, it's a thing, and that's exactly what I do. I also coach, and I also do a lot of speaking because I never met a mic I didn't like. So that's what I do virtually, and I can't wait to do this in person again. But in the meantime, in between time, let's jump to it. So I got a question for you guys right now. As we step into this new normal brand, we step into it. The question I have for you guys right now, have you already started thinking about how you will be positioning yourself? And this question, by the way, is not just for entrepreneurs, because that's the first. Entrepreneurs are probably a little bit more on it because, you know, you got to figure out that how you are going to position your business. But if you are a professional right now, as we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, you need to make sure you are future ready for a future that we have no idea what it's going to be like. But the strategies I'm sharing today will help you at least prepare rather than sitting around, you know, doing what you got to do during this quarantine time, but not thinking forward, because that's where I want you to be. Eyes on the future. And while we have no answers, and it's true, we absolutely have no answers, that doesn't mean you can't prepare. That doesn't mean that you can't already start positioning yourself for opportunity. So I'm going to break it down for you. So whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a corporate warrior, whether you're a leader in the space, you've got to start thinking forward, because this new normal, whatever it's going to be, is not going to be what we knew. We are already seeing how the digital transformation is literally, it's here, and it literally escalated real quick. So whether we are ready or not, we recognize that not only do we, most importantly, we need a brand, but at least the bare minimum, we need to make sure we have a digital ID. And there is a difference. Branding, there's a lot more components, but at least showing up for business is going to be the flat line minimum. I need to be able to look you up and know exactly who you are and what you do and how you can help. And then the brand is the strategy that helps you get a lot further. So, all right, let's go take a look. Oh my gosh, let's take a look, hear what y'all have to say. I love it. Pedram's from Toronto. And yes, I remember you, Pedram. We got to know each other in the MBA class when I was a guest lecturer. I'm teaching actually a few other classes at Ryerson coming up. Okay, so Team Livers, Bonnie's here. So Gregory, you see, this is a friend of mine. Anybody who agrees with me is a friend of mine. I'm kidding. But I understand, Gregory, why you would agree with me. So I want to know, yes or no, guys. I want to see this right now, yes or no. So let me see. Blair said yes. She's starting to think about it. Robinette says yes. Starting to think about this is a new normal. How will you position yourself? If you haven't yet, it's okay to say no. It's okay to say no. Hey, Susan. But, top LinkedIn voice. Vote me some Cher Jones. Andy, this is like my buddy, okay? You don't understand. We got a connection, so I love you. And I would vote you a top LinkedIn voice too, by the way. I'm just saying. You know, a game recognized game. Let me tell you that much. Okay, so Donald says yes. He's been thinking about this. Is so important, guys. You got to start thinking about this. You got to start thinking about your positioning. Okay. Not only do I help, Andy helps. Also, Megan helps. So there's a lot of people online who can help you do this. So you got to start thinking about it. And of course, with my tips, you can do it too. Okay. So in this new normal, as we get right there, oh my gosh, did I really talk for 10 minutes without teaching y'all anything? I'm sorry. Let's get in there right now. So the first thing I want you to know is know the industry changes. You need to know, and that your industry is changing real time. And a lot of what you can find online right now are projections. But what you can do is research your industry. So literally type in your industry, like broadcasting industry, COVID. Changes to broadcasting industry, COVID. Changes to pharma, COVID. See what people are talking about. Also, another cool way to research changes is also thinking broader professional topics. So changes or leadership in a crisis, look that stuff up, because you will see now how important positioning yourself as a leader and what matters right now in a crisis. Those are things that you have to start researching. And what you need to do as you're researching is looking for future predictions, possible trends. And this is not easy. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that the answers are all out there, but it's better to be looking and preparing and seeing where the chatter is going so that you can take a look at how it applies to you, which actually brings me to my next point, which is project the role impact. So looking at your roles, let's say you're in IT, let's say you are in an area specific and you're working on specific systems, and how will those systems be impacted by the changes going forward? Leaner companies not being there anymore. There's so many different things. So you have to start thinking. Like you look at the restaurant industry, how that's going to change dramatically. The small business retail, how is that changing right now? So looking at the impact of again, COVID on your industry or in life as a whole. Now, how could that impact your role as far as managing forward? A lot of this stuff is actually going to come down to managing people as they come back into work. If you are in a leadership role, you need to get up to date on what's going on with that so that you can position yourself as the kind of leader that you need to be rolling back into your company, right? You also need to make sure that you have a good idea of what's going on. So doing that research, industry changes as they come down, and it's more like industry predictions, but we can already see what's happening. And reduced workforce, there's so many ways. It really, like I can name a number of things, but again, it's very specific to your role, but start doing the research. Do you guys agree? What are you guys thinking so far, right? So looking at the industry changes, looking at the projecting the role impact is really important. I'm just realizing how much I'm talking with my hands. That's not going to stop. I'm sorry, guys. It just love me or leave me alone, right? Okay, so let's see what you guys have to say here. So Megan's saying, yes, always thinking ahead, major problem. Sometimes miss the now. Oh, absolutely. But in this case, I think it's important because all we have right now, we have these wonderful moments with our immediate family in the home, talking and connecting online. But at the same time, I think this is an opportunity to get ahead and stay noticed and stay top of mind, because there may be, this is just a projection in workforce, there may be cuts as far as how businesses have to operate going forwards. I mean, there's incredible companies like Bank of America who said they are not letting go of anybody in their staff because of COVID in 2020, which I think is an amazing promise. But other companies may not be that fortunate. So you need to project ahead of what's going on in your business, in the business that you're in, the industry that you're in, and also how do you project the impact on your role and what potential roles because that you might slide into. And that gives me to the next one is identifying your strengths, because this is so important now that you can kind of inference what's going to happen in your role. And if you're an entrepreneur, it's the same thing. How does what you do layer into the new normal, whatever that may be. There are things that you can already project. For me, I think it's pretty easy because, again, this digital transformation has brought on the fact, it has highlighted the fact of things that me, Andy, Megan have been saying for a long time. You need to have a brand online. You need to have it. And now we're seeing that more and more because of this face-to-face interaction. So that's something you can check out. I just updated my profile last night to reflect future changes around COVID and around this new normal. So this is fresh off of my head, fresh off the press is what I've been thinking about. But you need to identify your strengths and how they will be the spotlight and why they're valuable to your clients or on your team or for your company. Because you need to make sure that those strengths get a spotlight and get positioned in the right way. And that's incredibly important. So let me take a look. Let's see what Blair has to say. I've been thinking about that point. How do we regroup after this has ended? And that's the thing. We don't know. No one knows, right? We don't even know. We don't have an end date at this point. And we hear about second waves and all that kind of stuff. But we can't sit here sitting on our hands and not predict the possible future. And I think in this way, it's a wonderful way to look forward as far as, instead of looking at what's happening, is what could be in this new normal. And I think that's a more healthy way to look at it, especially because we don't have the real answers. So what's the possibility? What are your strengths? How can you project a brand that has even more value going back, or not going forward? That's the word that we want to look for. So you really have to be in tune with what's going on in your industry. You have to project that impact on your role as a service provider, as an entrepreneur, as a team member, as a developer, as in HR, all those things. This world event is going to impact you. So you need to start thinking strategically about that and then identify what makes you primed to be a productive part of the team or a valuable contribution as a service provider. So I want you guys to think about that. And let's see, hey Melody, now that the workplace is accustomed to working from home, we will need to be more flexible when we get back to business. Absolutely. And again, that comes back to, I'm not saying this to say, hey, come work with me, but hey, come work with me. The fact that our brands matter, because sometimes we will be working from home, we will show up, and it's not just externally with clients, it's internally as well. They want to know who they're working with. So this stuff matters. Okay. And let's see. Calista says, now more than ever before is an opportunity to display me authentically and unapologetically. Preach. This is it right now. I love this, Calista. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Be authentic and unapologetic. I love it. Okay. And oh my gosh, you guys are awesome. I have to come back in here after the show. Pedram says, maybe we shall imagine 3 scenarios: best, worst, and most possible, and then see ourselves in it. I love that. Again, as you're doing your research, maybe it is having those columns where you're using a mind map. Remember last week what I recommended, MindMeister? Creating that mind map where you're taking in all of your research, seeing keywords, because when you're noting the industry changes, listen to the language they're using, because you can fold that into your brand in a natural way, right? So, and that brings me actually to my next point. Reposition, not relaunch. So I've had several people that I've actually started working with, 3 that I've started, 3 came to me, 2 decided to work with me this week. And we just started actually. And the interesting thing is they came to me in quite a panic that their whole business model, they felt, was they have to blow it up and start again. And because they felt that they weren't relevant. But the more I got them to talk about what they do, is I could see how that could transform and the strengths that they need to leverage, how you just have to layer it into the projections of what it's going to be like when people get back to work. So I want you to, especially those of you who are entrepreneurs thinking, I got to relaunch everything. No, reposition right now, because we don't know what's going on, but you can inference based off of your research. And relaunch is so much work, where reposition, you're moving forward with it, and then you can pick up the slack as you fill in the gaps, and those are the knowledge gaps. So I want you to just take the pressure off. You don't have to relaunch anything. You just have to start repositioning subtly. Okay, and Calista says, exactly, amen. And biggest new problem that is, oh wait, let's see. Base your service on their biggest new problem, not your expertise. Preach, okay? Martin, you nailed it. I combined what you said there, but you nailed it. It's all about their problems. And quite frankly, that's how I start when I'm working with my clients. I'm starting, what is the problem that you are solving? What is it that they will identify themselves into? What is the big problem? Now, how do we position you around that problem as the guide, as the person who can help, as the answer? And again, this is not just for entrepreneurs, my friends. This is for all of you professionals out there, because you're hired to solve a problem, be part of a team that creates, to solve, to help. But you have to know what it is your work contributes towards. All right. So align your brand and content. So here's what I mean by that is, so there might be strengths that people didn't know you had, okay? There might be things that you can do that people in your current role, they might not see it. They might not know that you have this superpower that you've been kind of keeping under wraps because you haven't had the opportunity to use it, or they may not know about a lot of your past experience. Sorry guys, I need to drink water. So one of the things that you need to do is start either creating content or start curating content that aligns to the strengths that you have identified as part of the solution to the problem that you plan to help solve or work on or contribute to. So what you can do is start sharing content, of course, adding your own take naturally, that reflects those strengths that you have, that can reflect your thought leadership, even in just a few comments. You can also, in addition to sharing, you can comment on other things in a way that really does position your expertise, your knowledge, everything. So as well, start to create content. Look for opportunities where you can share what you know through your experiences, whether it's sharing experiences and how it relates going forward or to the strengths that you have, but also creating a framework, a best practice guide, things like that, where you're really showcasing what you bring to the table. And then my final tip, and this is how it all rolls together. So this is a strategy in itself. So guys, I really want you to think about this because it is so important. And of course, I got to move my clock just a little. All right, that works. Have a visibility strategy, because you need to make sure that you are in front of the right people. So what I mean by that is, are you connected with the people in your company that need to know what you do? If you are connected, how often do they show up in your newsfeed? If they're not showing up, but they're active, that means it's time to reactivate the algorithm. Wonder Twin powers, activate. Form of newsfeed. Wow. I know I have friends somewhere in the world that will actually appreciate that. But anyways, it's okay. Bottom line is that activation happens when you engage in their content, when you slide into their DMs and have those conversations. That is how we get this visibility, right? You rope them in. You could tag them in something if it's appropriate, right? So keep that in mind. You want to make sure that as we wrap this up, you want to make sure that you are abreast of what's going on in your industry, the projections, because that's all we got. And as well, inference based off of what you hear, based off of what you know your company to be like, based off of the decisions. Where can you add value? Project the role impact. So going back to what you do, will you go back to work doing what you do? Will it be something different? Right? And now that you can see these changes, now you're forward thinking and you can identify what makes you awesome to handle these changes, to hit the ground running. And then with that information, armed with those 3 points, it's time to reposition how you present yourself, especially on LinkedIn, especially there. And it could be a subtle reposition where there's slight mentions. It could be a significant reposition. It could identify some of the experiences that you have that make you ready to hit the ground running. And again, for those things that people don't know about, that you need to do some PR for your brand, that's when you're aligning your brand and content. So you're creating the content to showcase what's up here. And creation can also mean commenting, by the way. That's micro content. Also curating great content that really aligns your strengths, and people start to align what you share with the person who's sharing. Okay? And finally, make sure that all this effort gets seen. So have that visibility strategy. Figure out who you need to be connecting with, who needs to see your posts on a regular basis. And then you put in the sweat equity of engagement, and then brand powers activates. And you got it. There's a new normal brand action plan. Just like that. Start working on it, my friends. Let me know how it's going. If you have any questions, you know I'm here to help. So I hope you guys are liking that. But I got 4 minutes. So I got to move on. Let me see what you guys are saying. Melody says, maybe a bit off topic, but I've been focusing on motivating my many people I have following at high level roles. The amount of pressure on our business leaders is tremendous. Absolutely. But that goes back to even a visibility strategy, Melody, as far as when you are in there and you are building those relationships. A couple of weeks ago, I talked about the relationship double down, and that all comes down to building relationships, authentic relationships. That, quite frankly, is a part of your visibility strategy. And it's funny because when we start to layer that in, we start to call it a strategy. It seems not very authentic, but it absolutely is if you are coming from a genuine place. And knowing who you are, and I know who you are, I know it is quite authentic. And I know that that person, the receiving end, is feeling that authenticity, that genuine care. And guess what happens? You start showing up for that person. And just by the nature of the algorithm, you start to show up as well. So think about the relationships where you can, as you've done, where you are being that contributor. But I can tell you that it wouldn't hurt to start positioning you for being ready for what's next. So that's something that's important, and they work hand in hand. Why not complete the circle of opportunity, right? Okay, so guys, I promise you, I love this. Like, look at all these hearts. I love hearts. Okay, Christine says, Cher, you are great, and I appreciate all that you do. You are a top voice on LinkedIn Top Voice. This is spot on. Thank you so much, Christine. You know what? I'm here to serve. I'm here to help. There's so many people that I will never get to work with in my life, but at least if I get to touch you guys, give you guys some information, you can run with it. And those who work with me, it's all good. But I'm here to help, and I'm here to just build that trust in me. So perhaps if you guys want to recommend me to your teams when they come back and they recognize how important having a brand online for business is at this point, hey, I ain't going to be mad at that. So I appreciate that. But guys, as I see this clock ticking down, I'm not going to make 30 minutes. It's just not going to happen. So I don't want to stress me out. I'm going to pause it for just a sec. Don't worry, I'll unpause it. I'll do it in a second. But let me know. You guys have started already, so give me some love, give me some claps, this was a really important topic, by the way. So I think I deserve to take practically 20 minutes to talk about it. But I really think it was important. I really think that going forward, as you guys are developing your brands online, this is integral to start projecting, because never in this time have we ever seen something like this. I'm older than I look. I've been around. This ain't my first rodeo. And trust me, there's nobody here. There's nobody on LinkedIn, period, who's seen a time like this, regardless of how old you are. Okay? So let's look at this. And as long as you are, and this is also, let me just take one step back for a second. There are some people right now watching that can't even get there right now because they have bigger fish to fry. They're worried about feeding their kids tomorrow, paying their rent, doing what they got to do to survive. And this is not the motivation BS that is telling people, oh, I don't care if you don't come out of COVID-19 without with a book or without this, without that, without doing that, then you wasted your time. That is BS. You deal with you right now. But these are strategies that as you see sunlight, as you see opportunities, and some people have more sunlight than others. We are all in the same storm, but we are not all in the same boat. So take this advice and work it how you can work it. This is not pressure that you have to do it. It can obviously, anybody can agree with me, I'm sure, that this will work for you if you put it to work. But if you have more important things to think about right now, stick with your priorities. And I hope at some point that this can level up as a priority. And it's not because you don't want to. It's just if you have bigger fish to fry, then focus there. But this is really important stuff, and I don't want to diminish the importance of it either. But always keep in mind that you are where you are, and you've got to handle it every day, and hopefully this stuff helps. So I want to just remind you of that because I see so much fake motivational COVID stuff right now that's driving me nuts because it's not fair. Anyways, all right, so I'll get off my soapbox, but I can't because it's my damn show. So I'm always on a soapbox, but I will move on to my scroll stopper. So guys, I told you right from the beginning, Donovan, who is in the crowd, don't know if you're still in the crowd, but I appreciate you all the same. You, my friend, as I announced, are the scroll stopper for today. So let's take a look and we'll go full screen right now. All right, so here we have Donovan Smith. He is a business support analyst at the Georgia Department of Education. And also, he is all about having data tell your story. So tell your data story. And he doesn't get more math than this, guys. Like, I'm not even kidding. This is like, when you think of math, I now think of Donovan. And let me show you what he created because I really love this strategy. And whether you can adopt it as your own, well, let's take a look, right? So let's take a look at what Donovan did. So he created this. Do you guys see me right there, right in the middle, right? First of all, it caught my attention because it's like, minus 2.25. Why am I the negative? Anyways, and Nick, why does he get so much? Anyways, that was my own personal ego in there. But anyways, what he said, so he basically created one of those really cool math equations. And only, like, quite frankly, it's interesting because, you know, clearly, Donovan, you're kind of a math nerd, I'm just saying. But that's good for your brand. So here's what he wrote. He wrote, with those stop signs, love it because I already got my attention. Stop scrolling. I follow these 3 amazing influencers. I'm an influencer, guys. Did you get that? If you didn't get that, I'm an influencer. Right? Because like Gary V, I'm just saying. All right. Let me go back to business now. So on April the 7th, all 3 inspired me. So I'm turning them into a math problem. Let's see who can solve this. Engaging while social distancing. I plan to create more. Thank you, everyone, for your ongoing engagement. And I love his little emojis. And then I will direct message you if you are correct. Let's connect if we're not connected and engage. And then he has his hashtags, love it, has his hashtag Donovan Smith, Post Meridium, online math tutor, hidden figures. Doesn't get better than that. And of course he has his website down at the bottom on the post. So that's awesome. So definitely attention grabbing with that stop scrolling. I'm telling you guys, when you tell people what to do, it gets their attention. I'm just saying, that's what happens. You get someone's attention, you tell them to do something. So Donovan said stop. Then he leverages influencers. And of course, I had to italicize the influencer because, you know, I don't take that too seriously. But in the context of what he's creating, I'll take it. But so he's basically leveraging recognizable faces because that influencer word has just gone too far. Anyways, so yeah, he's leverages influencers so that when you're scrolling, you see faces you know because we have a lot of people that we're connected with. So interactive and fun. Absolutely. Could I answer the question? Absolutely not. It's not my thing. But I sure did try. I sure did try to figure it out. But I wrote in the comments, trust me, there's no way. So Donovan, can you please just DM me the answer, please? Pretty please. Anyways, this is what you need to know, guys. Side hustle noted. So one of the things that Donovan does is he's an online math tutor for, I think it was grade 6 to grade 12, if I'm not mistaken. So I just found this out about Donovan. And on top of that, guys, Donovan did his intro video that also specifically talks about that other side of his brand. So being an online math tutor and having a network on LinkedIn and having a math brand on LinkedIn will lead to more opportunities for Donovan because, especially right now, but always finding a great tutor for your kids, awesome. You're connected to one. So if you haven't connected with Donovan, make sure you connect with him. Everybody at some point is going to know someone who needs a math tutor for some kid, and it could be yours. I'm just saying. All right. Also, what you may not know is he made it a series. So I'm going to give me 1 second. I'm going to go full screen on that. So here's what he did. He made this a series. So you've got Shanae and Courtney and Christopher. And then you've got Paul Brunson, you've got Quentin, you've got Shay Rowbottom, you've got so many people, right? So we're seeing, you got Daryl, my boy Daryl, and Jordan, and who else? Jordan and Daryl, and that's who else I'm missing. Oh, and my girl Terry, and let me see who else was on this one. Kit Pang and David McQueen. I saw that. And of course, finally, I cannot ignore my boy, Marcello, right here. So he's on it too, guys. So here's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, really fun stuff. Really cool idea to get and engage with his network. So I thought that was dope. And I hope you guys do too. So make sure you connect with Donovan. Great idea. See how you can use influencers to create content in a very fun, creative way that calls for lots of engagement. So I hope you guys like that. I thought it was cool. And now coming up for Tap That App, guess what? I'm all tapped out, my friends. I didn't have a Tap That App this week. So do you got any recommendations for me? Seriously, I've been going, this is show, I think 35 or 36. And I was so busy this week and last week. I was like, I don't have something new that I wanted to show you guys. So I was like, oh my gosh, instead of putting all the pressure on me all the time, I love it. I love the tech, but I just didn't try something new this week. I am working on a few things, but I'm trying to work the kinks out before I recommend it. But if you have an app recommendation, can you please let assistant know? Just let me know so I can test it and recommend it if I think it's something that is worth recommending on my show, given the context of what I do. So I want you guys to keep that in mind. And of course, I'm going to jump in now for the A's to your Q's. And of course, I want to remind you guys, yes, got any recommendations, let me know. And of course, if you're not following Just Ask Cher, come on now. Do you even have a life on LinkedIn if you're not following the hashtag Just Ask Cher? I'm kidding. But I'd really appreciate it because that means you might see more of my content if you're following the hashtag Just Ask Cher. So all you need to do is search it, hashtag Just Ask Cher, follow, and we connected. And by the way, if you are watching for the first time, you're like, oh, I like her. Well, connect with me. What are you waiting for? I really enjoy connecting. So please do that. And of course, if you didn't already know, it's time for the A's to your Q's. So if you got questions, get them in there. I'm going to check right now. Donovan says, keep on giving the world your gift. I love that. And thank you. This is something that really is, as much as I love to like bless you guys with what I know. This is a blessing to be able to do this. I call this TV on my own terms. I absolutely love it. And Blair says, love this. We are all in the same boat, but we're all in the same storm, but we are not in the same boat. And yes, we need to remember it. And Bertina says that Donovan has stumped her so many times. I hear you, Bertina. I am right on that same boat, that stump boat right now. Cornelia says, genius. And Matthew says, thank you. That was great. I love it. Teleprompter light is pretty cool. Okay, Christopher, I'm going to test that out because I could use some teleprompter life and use it with teleprompter light. So I'm going to test that out because I wanted to start doing a video series where that could be helpful. For all those who are looking to curate content, thank you, Christine. Sendable. This is really important right now. Like I said before, that was actually in my advice to curate content. I'm just saying. So George says, Cher Jones is a blessing. I'll take that, George. I see your blessing and I raise it because I want to bless you guys right back. Okay, Megan, you're awesome. You are an amazing influencer. And, oh, Donovan, I'm waiting to see if I got mine right. That's what Daryl says. So hook it up. And let's see. If there's any other questions. Yes. Rich says another one is like aligning with the same storm, different boats. Yeah. And that is something, again, that perspective is game changing because it just reminds us of where we're at. And, oh, Pamela, thank you. I learned something with every engagement. Thank you. And Kalisa says, I appreciate you and what you're doing. Well, guys, I appreciate you. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you joining me at night because I know it's like a Tuesday night for when it's live. And even on the replay, guys, I appreciate you guys watching. And if you made it this far, this is just a reminder that sharing is caring. Did you know that? If you didn't, you want to make sure if you made it to the end, that means you saw some value. You were like, hey, this is good stuff. Let me share it with my network. That would be awesome. You do me a favor. I appreciate that, of course. So sharing is caring. And I wanted to let you guys know something that's coming up next. Not about the show per se, but tomorrow, here, let me show you what's up. I am for the city of Mississauga. So that's a city right beside the city of Toronto. I am doing a virtual webinar. Well, I guess every webinar is kind of virtual now, isn't it? And it is social media tactics for your small business can use during COVID. So that's tomorrow. Guess what, guys? 300 people have signed up for that. And that's for the Mississauga Board of Trade. So they're really trying to help out entrepreneurs out there. So I'll let you guys know if you were interested. It's free, by the way. So the future is unlimited.ca. That is the address that snapshot that right now. The future is unlimited.ca and brought to you by the city of Mississauga. They're paying me to help you guys. So for those of you, by the way, who have been watching, this is not new information to you because I've been talking about this for at least a month now. So it is going to be a 2-hour session-ish, and I'll be presenting and talking and so much more. So feel free to join me. That's tomorrow, Wednesday, the 15th. I'll be there presenting on the webinar. So check it out if you can. And I am looking forward to next week. Next week, I'm going to talk about the session the topic that I was going to talk about this week was about developing mentor relationships. I wanted to talk about that this week, but then so many people have been coming to me around the reposition that I wanted to make sure that you guys had the best information that you can use right now. So that's why I do what I do. I switch it up all the time, but that's on deck. So developing a mentor and positioning yourself to be mentored. So what you got to do to get there, or developing a mentor relationship and all that good stuff. So that's the show next week. Of course, you guys, I appreciate you. And I'm going to resume this clock like as if it's been going the whole time. I'm going to end this show early tonight, guys. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I definitely am looking forward to seeing you guys next week. And of course, in the comments, I'll be diving in. If you have any questions, just ask Cher. I'm serious. Just ask Cher. Just ask me. DM me, connect with me, whatever it takes. I look forward to seeing you guys online, and I'll see you next week Tuesday night, 8 p.m. live, Eastern Standard Time, by the way. But I'll see you live, and I'll talk to you then. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day, great night, great afternoon, whenever you're watching. All right, talk to you guys soon, and I'm looking for my TV to smash in. All right, talk to you soon. Bye. And I'm back. But that's not what I wanted to do. That's what I want to show you. Are you on my A-list yet? If not, just.cher.com and you can get on the A-list. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching.